Yo, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy Nate, and welcome back to another episode of Pony Power Garage. In this episode, guys, we're going to be replacing the oil as well as getting both sides done with the SVT solenoids. Pretty much, as you guys know, we bought a F150, and we told you guys that it was having some like it was driving weird on overdrive. We never really used overdrive anyways. When you click it, it just goes into a higher RPM anyways. I normally would drive or use that for my Mustang. When I was driving the V6, I would use overdrive because it put the Mustang into a higher RPM, which in the end would just kind of make it sound a little better than it already did. But obviously I would have no reason to on the truck. Pretty much what I did was I went to I was just driving around town. Like I never really took it that far, so I never really challenged the truck at all. We ended up driving to go see my brother to go show him the truck, and which is like about an hour from where I am. With that, drove there, drove pretty good, no issues really. Getting there, showed him the truck, everything like that. Drove back, had no issues really at all again. And then once I get into the town that I live in, that was when it started to have the issues. So as you guys saw in the clip, so it was almost like wanting to shut off. It felt like. It was like puttering, everything like that. And it also would putter on the highway if you were going anywhere between 25,000 or 2,500 to 3,000 to 3,500 RPMs. And so that puts you at about 70 to 80 miles an hour. And then sometimes it would like putter, it would feel like it was slipping or misfiring, whatever. And so once that happened, I threw my coder on it when I first got the truck. The only two codes that were popping up were O2 sensor codes. Once all that was going on and I pulled it up here to my house, I decided to go throw the coder on it again. And that was when I revealed that it was popping up the solenoid codes, which then I did my research and it was saying that if you're having the solenoid codes, that could result into having falsified O2 sensor codes because your vehicle could be thinking that it's having, airflow issue, but in reality, it's just your solenoids are basically causing a misfire. Either way, that could be the reason why you're having the O2 code. So my plan was to replace the O2 sensors and do the oil change and hope that would fix the problem. After doing the research and posting on multiple groups, we have decided that the common problem was probably going to be the solenoids, which then made sense because it was popping up the solenoid code. So today in this video, we are going to be doing an oil change on the Ford F-150, as well as replacing both side solenoids, which are located on the valve cover. So we might have to pull the valve covers, we might not. We're going to try not to, but if we have to, we have to at the end of the day. We are first going to start with the oil change. And so with that, the truck takes 5W20, and we got 2 gallons of that. This is actually 4.7 liters, and this is like a 5-quart. So the truck takes like 7.7, I think, when I looked it up. Then we had to get the Mobil 1 oil filter. This one was the most expensive one. At least it was at O'Reilly's. And before we actually do the process, because it could be gunky, it could be shitty oil, everything like that, we are going to be doing the Motor Medic Synthetic Motor Flush. So this is basically going to flush out everything, all the gunk, if there's any gunky oil, and it's just going to clean your engine completely. If it's really bad, you want to do this twice. But we're going to do one to start with, get a nice oil change. So how you do it is you put this in first, start the engine, let it run for 5 minutes, let it, kind of get in there, get into the system, everything like that. Then do your oil change. So I think the plan is we are going to drive it around the block a couple times, kind of get it a little hot, a little warm, and then come here, put this in, do the cycle, then do the oil change, and then kind of go from there. After we do the oil change, that will be when we replace the 2 solenoids, and we're going to do all this in this video, and then run another test. You guys kind of know the drill. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys go on to enjoy the video. If you guys do, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more content just like this. Without further ado, let's get it. All right, y'all, so we're doing the engine flush right now, and so we are sitting, I got a couple more minutes for it to fully get through. You don't want to rev it, nothing like that. It is shaking a little bit, but it's going to, because it's gonna thin your oil out, which is then, it's just gonna make it idle a little bit weird. Once this is done, we're going to get into the truck and drain it immediately. Once we drain it completely, then obviously you guys know the process of the putting the new oil and all of that. So that's kind of where we're at. So we're going to put you guys down. Once we get under the truck, we're going to take you guys down there with us and everything like that and show you guys the whole process. All right, so we're going to try to do this. I just flipped the camera, so it might be a little backward for you guys. So we're using a 17. That's it. So it's actually a 16, not a 17. Either way. Either way. Oh. Oh. Motherfucker. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh. Alright. So we got our drain bucket right here. I think she's gonna want to shoot out. For sure. Isn't that how it works? Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Oh, gonna start coming in a minute here. Oh, buddy. Come on. There she goes. So, guys, I checked the oil, and it honestly didn't seem like it had any oil in it. I pulled it out, wiped it down, put it back in. See, I mean, this should be draining for a minute. So there really wasn't a lot of oil in it to begin with. But I did put that thinner stuff in there, so it's going to thin that out a lot and everything inside. So we're going to let that drain for a little while. And then, yeah, we're going to move to the front and try to figure out the oil filter. All right, so I know a lot of people, they don't actually show you where the freak this oil filter is because it took me forever to find it. Everyone was saying it's on the passenger side, so it took me forever looking over there. I looked over here, couldn't find it really. And it was saying it was on the front of the engine, and it was like, it was black. Mine is, so it blended in extremely bad. But anyway, so what I did was I came down right here. So you come down right here, and I mean, you come, boom, there's my tire, and it's right up there. You can see it right there. I already got it kind of loose. So let's just boom, boom, boom. So we're gonna peel this off. Once it comes, boom, there's the rest of the oil pouring out into my bucket. Get her out. Oh, whoa, buddy. Hell yeah. Didn't mean to do that, Pops, my bad. All right. Here's the old gasket, or old filter, out with the old and with the new. So a little tip that I don't want to touch anything, as I have a tendency to smear oil everywhere. I should get gloves, shouldn't I? Anyway, I'm gonna do a step that I didn't do, or I didn't show. With the bolt on the drain plug, you want to wipe off the surface, get it as clean as possible. Same with the new oil filter. So I'm going to get down under here and show you guys what I mean. So this is the new gasket, or a new I keep saying gasket, the new oil filter. So we're going to get under here. Thank God this is the last time. So I'm going to try to record it so you can see. I can't. All right, let me scoot this way. Okay. This upside up. All right, so you can see the surface right there. I'm just gonna, it's hard to do it in this angle and record, but I'm gonna wipe this down with the paper towel, clean all that up best I can, and then put the new oil filter on. All right, now we're on to the oil, which is gonna take 1.5 of these. So we're gonna use the brand new one first and then go into the half one. So like I said, it's gonna take 1.5. So now we're gonna cap her. You take this out. Oh. Boom. capper. And we're gonna check the dipstick, make sure it's a good level, and then starter. All right, I'm not gonna get in it because I already got it kind of dirty, and I'm dirty as frick. So, oh, it's the Mustang key. This one. So, moment of truth. With the oil change. Now it says to let it run for about 30 minutes. So I'm gonna let this kind of sit for about 30 minutes and then come back out and check her. All right, y'all, so we were supposed to go to Des Moines and run like a little detour and go help my uncle. But, so like we talked about in the beginning of the video, the truck was like, it was really, really bad yesterday. It like wasn't trying to fix itself. Today it's obviously been fixing itself, whatever. I did the oil change and then I drove around my town a little bit, and it wasn't really doing it at all. So I was like, okay, so now I'm gonna run it to Ames. And so I drove it to Ames, which is like 30 minutes from my house, and I drove it there, and it ran good all the way there. And then I got to my dad's work because I was gonna stop with him and kind of talk with him, tell him I changed my oil, everything like that, and that it was running, you know, pretty good for the most part. And then as soon as I pull into the driveway or into the parking lot, I mean, it starts doing it. So I'm like, well, what the fuck? And this time my truck died. It's like, fuck it, like I'm just gonna put it, you know, obviously put it in park, start it. It started right up, and now I'm driving back to my house. And so basically running the same test again. And so far, you know, I've been going 65. I think I went 75 on the highway. I'm going 60 right now down the country road. And she's running good so far. She's not you know, it sounds normal. Everything's good. She's running smooth. And so when I get there, I'm going to record, you know, because there's a bunch of stop signs I got to run through, so I got to stop and go a bunch. So we're going to run the test, and hopefully everything runs smooth. All right, we're pulling up to the first stop sign. So far, so good. It was like, it's always like when I run it for a minute, and then I like go to low RPMs and then like slowly accelerate, I feel like, is when it does it. Here's the second one. Third one. All right, guys, so we wanted to give you guys a little update. So we came back inside, and so like we said, it was running perfectly fine. Everything was good. I don't know exactly what the solenoids do. I believe it has to do with like the timing of the cam, and anyways, I don't really know too much about it, but it was saying that a bad solenoid, basically they get stuck sometimes, and when they get stuck, it causes everything to basically jump or to rattle. And when that happens, that's obviously your engine can shut off, it dies, and that's exactly what happened. If it had anything to do with timing, the engine, you would basically hear rattling all the time, and you would hear it the most at cold start idle, which at cold start idle, she actually sounds the best. All the symptoms, everything is aiming 110% at the solenoids and with the code, obviously. So now, like I said, now we're going to jump to me replacing the solenoids, because that's going to hopefully fix her. All right, guys, so we weren't able to actually get you guys any content for me actually putting in the two solenoids that we were replacing on the F150 because I was actually planning on working on it all day Friday, and getting ready Saturday for my brother's birthday party. Well, it didn't work out that way. I ended up having to go work all day Friday, didn't go home till late, and then didn't end up actually starting to work on it until Saturday morning. And my brother's birthday was like around 4 o'clock that evening. So I rushed through it, and I was stressing. Got it done, but we ran into some other issues. So because I was rushing, we didn't put on the valve cover gaskets. We wanted to reuse the ones that were already on it. And you should never do that. You always should replace the gaskets. I didn't have them at the time, and so we just ended up putting it all together, and we were leaking pretty bad oil out of our valve cover. And when we were taking it apart, we were noticing that the ignition coils were extremely bad. We're ordering all new coil packs, and then we have our set of gaskets right here. These are Felpro gaskets from O'Reilly's, and we're going to be using these to basically seal up the valve covers. And I was going to have another mechanic do it and get it like professionally done, sealed for the first time. And then if I had to do it again down the road, then I would do it myself. But the dude quoted me at like $700, which is absurd. We're just gonna go through the process, right? Take out the AC components, piping, all that good stuff, and making more room, loosen up the wiring harness, all that good stuff, and getting the valve covers off, putting these new gaskets on, putting the valve covers back on, and then replacing all of the ignition coils. We're not going to do it in this video because it's already been like 15 minutes. So all we're going to do in the rest of this video is kind of just run over where we're at with the race car, as well as kind of talk about how the party went with my brother. Before we actually get into, which you probably already saw this in the background, so I'm not even going to try to hide it. But before we actually get into talking about the race car and where we're at with that, so we went down to K1 Speed, and they had us do we had 3 different races. So we had our practice race, where we got used to the track, all that good stuff. Then we did our qualifying, and then we did our actual race. All were like 12 laps. It was actually a pretty good time. The karts are super fast. Anyway, so practice went really good. I led the entire time. We were smoking them because honestly, I thought I had the fastest kart. We were practicing, and we were honestly doing really good. First time on the track, and I haven't been there in years. Last time I went was probably like 4 years ago. After practice, we qualified. We ended up qualifying second. My dad actually had first with the fastest lap, so he went first. I went second, and then my brother's friend Riley came in third. And we qualified. All that happened, and then the final race happened, and there were cautions left and right. I mean, there were an absurd amount of cautions. We had the biggest group, so we had like an audience. People were like watching our group and all that, and it was a great time. Cautions, and when they have a caution, and it's like, so when someone spins out, wrecks, whatever, they'll keep people going for like a second, and if you are not moving like at all, like you're not trying to move your cart, then they'll stop the race, and they'll like your cart will shut off, and then you can roll whatever until your car stops, and then they figure out whatever, and then boom, green flag, and then you go again. Then we're getting it. I'm in second. I mean, I'm not even looking behind me because I'm just so dialed in on these turns, and I'm just getting it. And there was a caution, and my cousin actually ended up really wrecking pretty bad. She hurt her neck or whatever. So she ended up actually getting pulled from the race. But because of that caution, so the caution happened, and then I'm going. I noticed that there was a caution, so my cart shuts off. Boom. I'm rolling. I'm trying to roll as far as I can. Well, I got to the point where I got to about turn 3, or turn 2, I mean. And come around turn 2, actually, roll up to turn 3, and my cart stops because I rolled to my limit. And then here comes Riley. His cart had to shut off like later than mine or something, because he rolls past me so fast. And I know his cart had to have been off. Like, that was my knowledge, like I'm thinking everyone's cart is off. I don't know. Maybe there's a malfunction. I don't know. But he comes rolling past me all fast, and he gets all the way up to like turn 3 or to turn 4 almost in front of me at this point. And just because of his roll, he was rolling that far. Anyway, so I end up dropping to 3rd place. And so we're going again. Boom. He had rolled so far that at that point, the entire rest of the race was just playing catch up. My dad's cart, he had the fastest cart. They literally said from the get-go, cart number 3 was the fastest cart. and they gave my dad, being the fastest lap, the fastest cart. Shouldn't it honestly be the opposite, where the slowest lap should have the fastest cart, and the fastest lap should have the slowest cart, and then kind of work your way down? You know what I'm saying? He had the fastest cart, and he was honestly, I mean, he was like, just yeah, it was there was no catching him whatsoever at all. Anyway, so the race goes on, boom, 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 and boom, we finish in third place. Me, or my dad, Riley, and me, in that order. My dad first, Riley second, me third. We kept that order. After all that, we kept that order the whole rest of the race. We were smoking everyone. Almost were about to lap people. Actually, pretty cool. We actually stood up on like a podium, and I'll show you guys a picture right here. We ended up getting the bronze. Obviously, gold being first, silver being second, bronze being third. We placed third. And this is one of many trophies, especially now that we're getting into racing and starting a race team and all that with dirt. This is one of many trophies. So this will be my dad and I are probably going to put together like a nice little trophy. We're pretty good. We used to do construction. My dad's been 20 years construction. I've been in there for 10. Got a lot of construction experience around our house. Let's just say that. So anyways, we're going to put together a nice trophy set that we're able to then, put up, display all of our trophies, all that good stuff. But this is one of many. So, but yeah, so that was really kind of how the party went. After that, we ended up going to a pool hall, playing pool, and it was a great night. All right, so my dad and I had got a whiteboard for the team. We are very unorganized, so we're trying to get more organized, and that was to start with a board that we can put down things that we need to do, parts we need to buy just throughout the season. So we're always going to refer back to the whiteboard to do things and all that. So where we're at with right now, yes, I'm going to use this as a pointer. This was all full. So what we were able to do was we cleaned all the gasket surfaces, everything like that on the heads, as well as the intake and the carburetor. And so we already had most of all that done. So now where we're at is to clean the engine and the engine surfaces. So we have right now the engine tore apart. We have all the covers off and all of that. So we need to get down and we need to clean the pistons. We need to clean the block, all the parts before we put everything back together. So my dad and I we got the gaskets. And so at this point, where we're at with it is once this is done, we will then basically put everything back together, have all the right seals, everything like that. We got gasket seal. With all of that, what we have here with the bodies is we have a little bit more sanding to do, fix all the dents, scrape off the decals, and figure out the colorway, which we already have, which is going to be in another video, and then wrap the car. And that's kind of the exterior side of things. And then interior is sand a little bit more down on the roll cage, all of that. Figure out new routing and all of that, like fuel lines, electric, all that good stuff. Basically, every wiring or fuel line or whatever that we have, we need to basically reassemble it, reroute it, because right now it's kind of ghetto. But then fix the floor panels, fix the shifter, fix the seat height because I sit pretty low. I want to be kind of higher than the steering wheel at least. Gauges, get new gauges, but that was before we actually connected a battery to it. I found out that we have power, which I will show you guys in this video. But then fixed the control panel and then the dash. So that's kind of where we're at with the exterior and interior side of things, getting it ready and prepped. Parts we're buying, we already have the race gaskets, those, but we're not going to cross it off until we actually have them here. We're getting new head bolts because obviously once you take off head bolts, you want to replace them. You can use thread lock and you can reuse them at the end of the day, but going into our first season, we want to be fully prepared, have everything nice, and that's going to have to do with that, the head bolts. So then, boom, head bolts. We have to buy the car wrap, and then we're going to be buying new engine mounts, most likely, because when I show you guys these engine mounts, whoever had this car before us welded the engine mounts to the frame. So that's no bueno. So we're going to basically get new engine mounts, and again, it's going to be put together properly. But anyways, guys, so I'm going to take you guys off the stand, and we're going to walk around the car. And then kind of describe a little bit more things before we actually end the video. So okay, so we're gonna start here in the engine bay. So as you guys can see here, we still have on the timing face, we still have a little bit of covers that we have to scrape off and get clean, as well as the head surfaces and the pistons all have to be cleaned and ready. You can tell there that the pistons need to be cleaned tremendously. You know, they're actually in pretty good shape for the most part. They just need to be obviously cleaned. This side's a little bit better. But yeah, clean the pistons, clean the face here, clean the head surfaces. And then if you guys can see here, I'm gonna zoom in. Those are the engine mounts. Those are the engine mounts, and that is what is holding this engine onto the frame. Same with this side. It's like they like cut off something and then they just like welded, like, I don't know, welded it on basically. So that's what's kind of keeping the engine locked and on. Like I said, we cleaned all this stuff off. Actually turned out really well. This was extremely dirty. The carburetor was so dirty, but we got it pretty clean for the most part. Intake as well. The heads. These are the head bolts that we're gonna be getting all new sets. We're gonna keep the rods. But I don't know what my dad has planned for that. Maybe he wants to get new rods. I don't know. But here we are in the process of cleaning the exhaust manifolds, getting the starter clean, getting the air filter clean, valve covers clean, getting all this clean. These are the engine mounts that we talked about in a different video that I will probably gonna end up having to fabricate a little bit to maybe fit this, or just buy the new ones that fit it. Either way. But and then yeah, so then going in a little bit more sanding and some dent pulling to do on the exterior. Not too crazy. Seat height like we talked about. Getting the dash, basically getting this whole thing race ready. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna pull all this off of the seat. I'm gonna connect the battery and then flick the power on for you guys so you guys can see the power what's in the car. So we have to definitely get new connectors. These ones are extremely bad. This one's like, yeah, destroyed. But we're gonna put them on just like that. They don't have to necessarily be tightened down. And then boom. So I know that one's got light. This one might need to be replaced. I don't think there's light on that one unless this is not connected. There is a light on that one. It's just super dim. But yeah, so she's got power. Will we run this battery? I have no idea if it will hold, if it will be good enough. But so we might get a new battery, maybe add that up on the board. We don't really know yet. Just gonna kind of play it by ear. Like I said, get a new shifter, and yeah, pretty much just get this thing race ready. So anyways, guys, I'm sorry I couldn't show you guys the solenoids and the second test, everything like that. I mean, she still needs to do some work on her. Maybe we'll record a video on us replacing the valve covers, or I mean the valve cover gaskets. Maybe we won't, I don't know. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys went on to enjoy it. If you guys did, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more content just like this. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.